Don't do this when applying for a job. Recently, I've been hiring at my job, and typically I'll do some posting on Indeed, depending for the role. Many times I will work with a recruiter, depending on the role as well. And in this case, and at this job, I recently joined this company back in April. We're a smaller company, so we really don't have true HR. So at times in my role, I will have to wear the HR cap and do a lot of the grunt work when it comes to posting, writing job descriptions, posting the job, screening the applicants that come in terms of the resumes, and then figuring out which ones I want to have just a preliminary call with, et cetera, right? My experience has been with Indeed in this situation in the past and currently is that people will take the so-called shotgun approach when applying for a job. They will just, if they have their profile and resume already loaded up on Indeed, and it looks like something they might want to do, they'll just, whether they're qualified for it or not, maybe they don't even fully read the job description, and they just fire off their profile or submit their application. So in regards to that, I end up getting a lot of, and I'm sure other hiring managers that do too, you get a lot of, I'll just put it this way, trash, people who shouldn't be applying. You know, I have experience in the past where I was looking for essentially a customer service person, and I look for somebody with, you know, some type of customer interaction experience, whether it could be even retail, someone who knows how to speak to customers, maybe have to share difficult information from time to time, you know, get back in a timely fashion, et cetera, et cetera. And then you'll get somebody who was, let's just say a construction worker, who's had scattered employment, you know, bartender for 6 months, construction worker for a year and a half, doing electrical work here, like just people who just have zero experience, who haven't worked in 5 years, and when the experience level, you know, states that you need to have this level of experience. So those types of things, right? Sometimes there's extreme examples, and that's what I'm about to show you. And I thought it would be a good opportunity. You can look at this video and either have a laugh or just say, there's some takeaway here. You may say, ooh, I should really read the job description when I apply, take the time, might have a better chance of not getting blown off. But again, they make it so easy to apply. Who cares if you get blown off? It took you 2 seconds to press a button to apply. But if you're a hiring manager and you feel pain, maybe this is kind of validating that you're not alone and this does happen to others. Now, again, a recruiter might say, well, this is why you hire our services or hire a staffing agency. I get that too. Okay, so I'm going to share 2 examples that occurred for me hiring for this one position. And just to give everyone an update, I do have someone I'm ready to make an offer to who turned out to be wonderful. Really looking forward to working with this person, bringing him in. And basically, this role is what I would call an operational role, like a sales operational role. So they will spend time supporting inside sales, supporting for field sales, doing some analysis for me, maintaining our CRM system, and liaising between the order entry folks and our production folks. And ironically, they have some HR background. They're experienced in HR. So when I'm hiring for other positions, you know, that's actually someone I will utilize to help me. Okay, so that's the candidate. That's somewhat an idea of what the role is. And these 2 examples, one, you could say, I'll talk about the one first because I actually have a written example. The other I'll just have to speak about because it's kind of something I have to share as a story. So, first one, you could say, at least they were upfront, somewhat upfront, and open with you. So there's that, right? But kind of what they are open with is kind of like, whoa. So let's get to that. I'll set up the situation, right? So they applied on Indeed, okay? So therefore, I make the assumption, and we know what happens when you assume, that they read the posting, determined if it's a good fit for them, and if they have the qualifications, and they would like to maybe talk more, so they apply, right? So I see this on my end, and for those who don't really know how Indeed works, I see this on my end, and you can either reject, or maybe they have like a question mark, so it kind of goes into the maybe file. And I like to talk to maybes, and sometimes maybes move to yes, maybes move to no, or maybe stay maybe for. But I usually reach out to the maybes, and of course the ones that are, oh yeah, this person looks great on paper, I want to talk to them. So this guy, his profile looked good. Like when he applied, I thought, all right. There's looks to be some gap and some time, maybe some time away from work, but I don't hold that against people, especially in the world, post-COVID and whatnot. If somebody has 6 months, a year, even a couple years away, I give them an opportunity to talk about it, especially if their background is really what I'm looking for. And then all of a sudden they have a gap of 2 years. Not the end of the world. Sometimes people need to take a break. Not a big deal. So I reached out to schedule a 30-minute phone call, and I'll share with you the response. And the interesting thing is, look for this in the response when I read it, that they may have not actually read about the job based on kind of what they say. Okay, so here we go. I'll just scroll up here. Okay, hopefully I took out all the names except for mine. Hi Ed, thanks for reaching out. The more I read the job description, the more I feel like I'd be a great fit for this opportunity. So let's talk about that, right? Once you feel a great fit for it, before you apply and then apply, that's what I was getting at. I'd be happy to have a 30-minute intro call with you, but I want to be sure I'm not wasting your time. Here we go. In 2019, I was sentenced to 5 years in prison for causing a car crash while I was drunk. I'm almost 6 years sober, and I don't intend to drink anymore. Is that an instant disqualifier in your view? Sentenced to prison for 5 years. 5 years. Okay, so let's just talk about this here. Everyone in this planet makes multiple mistakes. I have made multiple mistakes, and I will continue to make mistakes throughout my life. It's just the nature of being a human, right? Sometimes your mistakes, you yield to your weaknesses and you make a mistake because you're not thinking properly, or you're thinking with the wrong portion of your body, or meaning like you know you shouldn't drink, but you're giving into the cravings of your body to drink, or going someplace that you're not supposed to, whatever it is, right? Or just, and I'm not talking about like career choices, I'm talking about common sense mistakes, because career choices, a lot of times they're calculated risk. Sometimes you have to do that. No risk, no reward. However, if you want to go out and have a case of beer and then drive home, no risk, no reward. A lot of risk, no reward. But and I'm not putting down people who this person may have had an issue. Alcoholism is real, and those people, who want to help themselves, it's a serious thing. And this person note to me was well written. Like, it doesn't look like somebody that's, and it would go with the profile, right? Like, I would expect somebody with the profile who knows how to put an email together to me. But when I look at 5 years in prison by causing a crash, right? I don't know, well, I know what state that this person lives in, but I don't know what the rules are, the laws are, I always assumed if you cause an accident while drinking, it's like loss of license and like fines, and I don't know if fines like keep you out of jail, but if you do go to jail, it's like months maybe or days. I don't know, but I do know that most states have like, I don't know, it's like 2 strikes or 3 strike rules. So what I'm wondering is if this person either A, I hope this is not the case, I so hope, inadvertently somebody lost their life in this accident or was severely injured, or the fines were so significant this person had to take the option of going to prison. I don't know, but that the 5 years, like if you said 5 months, 30 days, or if, you know what, if it was I was convicted of it, driving while under the influence, it's on my record. I've been sober for 6 years. Like, I appreciate this person being so open up front, because unfortunately I have to move along, right? So again, I believe in redemption. I believe in, second chance, all of that stuff, right? So I hope this person gets to some place, right? But I think probably leading off by 5 years in prison was, again, you don't want to lie to an employer, but at the same time, it's a tough one to swallow as an employer. Say, oh yeah, I'm gonna hire this person, and if it doesn't turn out well, it's like, well, why'd you hire a person who was in prison for 5 years? What skills were they honing in prison? So that's a difficult one, and I wouldn't say don't apply, and I wouldn't say don't be upfront, but it's a dilemma, right? Like, I want to give the person a second chance, but I feel like it's not my place to. And also, we're a very small company. Like, if this doesn't work, it will set us back because we have to go find another person. If this position was more of like, I wouldn't say a luxury, but we had a staff to take on the work, because we don't have staff to take on the work right now. Like, I'm doing some of the work. We have like 4 or 5 people doing the work, and it's preventing them from doing the work they should be doing. So there's that, right? And the other part of it too is, so this job, I clearly state it has to be in person, because you have to interact with the other departments and really be hands-on. And they're asking if they're being flexible. And I don't know where this town is. I know what town that is. I'm not going to say, but I have it must be far away, because they can't commute. They have to bring this up. So that's not going to happen. Like, I am not going to. I couldn't imagine explaining to my superiors I hired someone, they were in prison for 5 years for causing a car crash while drinking. I know I said they have to work in the office, but I'm going to let them work from home for 6 months until they find a place. So that's not going to work. But thanks again for contacting me. If this doesn't work out this time around, I understand. Hopefully we'll be able to reconnect in the future. So I responded. I just said, thank you for being upfront. Unfortunately, this is not going to work out this time, et cetera, et cetera. And that was kind of the end of that. So, more so that story, I wouldn't say that was like, don't do that when applying for a job. Maybe don't do that in life. But again, it's, who am I to argue? Like, as a younger guy, I found nothing like that, for the record. I found myself in situations where I think, oh man, I made one wrong decision and this happened. I get it, things happen, but that's an incredible, that's more than a things happen. Like, that is, choices were made, beds were made, and this person had to lay in that bed. Okay, so that was that, and take that as it will. Maybe it's just a life lessons, more so than don't do this when applying for a job. So the next one is definitely don't do this when applying for a job. So, same role. I see an application come through. I'm like, whoa. I'm like, this guy looks kind of overqualified for this position, but he applied. So I'm at least going to talk to him and understand why, as an over experienced or overqualified applicant, you're applying for this role. So I sent a message back and said, hey, I would like to set 30 minutes to talk. What days and times work well for you? And my response was delayed by 24 hours because, that's why I'm hiring people, because like I'm traveling, I am working on strategy, I'm essentially sweeping the floors, doing a lot of different things. It's fun, it makes my job interesting, but we're trying to build a foundation here, and I'm trying to slowly put the pieces in place to be able to do so. So 24 hours later, so he then went ahead and messaged me like 2 or 3 more times, like, how come you haven't responded yet? And then he found me on LinkedIn. And for those of you YouTubers out there, if you can find me on LinkedIn and would like to connect with me, by all means, you'll see a different side of me. You'll see the professional side of me, and I only talk about it a little bit on the channel. But if you want to get to know me a little bit more on that side, feel free. So he went on LinkedIn, connected with me, and then sent a message and saying, I don't know if the platform on Indeed is flaky, but I would like to talk to you how I can increase your business. Like, it was something ridiculous, like 2,000%, by working with me, we can form a partnership. Like, it was almost like a sales pitch. So when I read it at first, I'm like, this is just some solicitation. Then I saw the name, I'm like, this guy. So then I stopped for a second and looked, and I said, this is the same guy. What's going on here? So hyper aggressive, and our company culture is very important, and I'm protective of it. I do not want to inject a hyper aggressive person into our company culture. It is not going to work. We are focused, but I don't want to say we're laid back, but we're casual. We work very hard, but we're not at each other's throats like this guy, and usually in my experience, somebody in this type of role is not a doer. They're a teller, right? So like, they'll come in and they'll say, okay, you're going to grow the business 2,000%, go do it. And then it would be like, well, you need to have this person do this, and that person needs to do that, and this do that, or they really don't know how. So that is part of it. So already I have a bad taste in my mouth, and I already like, I'm good. I don't need to talk to you. Like, I'm good. Like, you just disqualified yourself. Like, this is what you say and do after the initial like connection. Like, when you apply and I respond, like, already you are on the interview clock, and let that be a lesson. And so the interview already starts when you apply for a job, and how you conduct yourself leading up to the first actual phone conversation is all a part of it. And this person blew it. They blew it so fast and so hard. I canceled. I just said, no, we're good. Doesn't take no for an answer. Now, not taking no for an answer is good. However, there are other ways to demonstrate that. If you are going to be uber pushy with your potential boss, you just put yourself in a hole. So what he did next was, one of my colleagues reached out to me and they're like, hey, so-and-so and so-and-so stopped by the office looking for you. So I'm a remote employee based in Massachusetts. Some of you already know this. And the office, let's just say, I know some of you who follow me, is, you could say it's in the Midwest, but it's not Ohio where I used to be, because that was a different job, but it's still in the Midwest area. So I physically am not in that office every day. I'm there once a month, and came by the office looking for me. And so my coworker goes, who is that? Like, kind of laughing, like, wow. And so then the guy wrote me a message or an email. He somehow got my email address and said, hey, I stopped by the office looking for you. Basically, like, why weren't you there? Okay. So I didn't respond to it at this point. Hey, I'm an executive. Not that I'm too good or too big for anyone, but I don't have time for games. So I tend to tune out. I tend to shut down. So I just moved on. And then he tried getting he didn't get my cell phone number, which I'm grateful for, but he called the office looking to speak to me. And like, we're antiquated right now. We're in the process of like setting all this up. So like, he couldn't get directly transferred from me. So like left messages. Then he went back on email and just said, I'm trying to get a hold of you. You want to schedule time with me. I've never had a candidate so aggressive before we ever spoke before. And I looked at his, during the process, obviously, or lack of process, I looked at his experience, and there's definitely like a couple years here, a couple years there, overqualified for the job based on some of the roles. But I'm wondering if he got himself into roles and wore out his welcome pretty quickly because of being pushy inside the workplace, pushy with customers, pushy with coworkers, pushy with his boss, and got himself dismissed. Again, I'm just speculating. So I don't think 99.9% of candidates for any job anywhere would be that way. Even like, this is not a sales role. Like, it's an operations role. Like, I can see, salespeople are a little pushy. Like, they dot their I's and cross their T's. Like, they're following up with the customer, like sending the follow-up email to thank them for, their time. That's great. I think that's interviewing 101. And then if they don't hear back from the hiring manager in the time that they said they would hear back, just pinging them, just a nice polite ping. Hey, it's, last time we spoke was over a week ago. You had indicated that last week I would hear from you. Just wanted to check in. Like, that's kind of like interviewing maybe 201 a little bit, but also like a little salesmanship there. That's cool. That's cool. If that's how the guy was, like, hey, I applied, and you wanted to set up a call. Although this guy, within 24 hours, like, I would give it a few days, but this guy, I didn't respond in 24 hours and was already up my rear end. All right, so that's just some very recent and recent and real experiences that I have had. I'm sure this will go on and on, but thankfully I have a good candidate for this. I'm about to hire another person for a different role, and maybe when I get this person on, I'll use this person because I said they have some HR background, and I can get them to do some screenings for me, which would be freaking awesome. All right, well, that's going to conclude it. I know we kind of went off the normal subjects that we do on this channel, but occasionally I do get asked a little bit about my day job and like, who am I, like, off camera, and like, what do I do, and I thought I'd share that. And for those who stumble upon this video who are looking for jobs or are hiring managers, maybe there's something in there useful for you, even if it's solidarity in terms of, oh man, I deal with that too. Whew. All right, well, thanks for watching. If you're into these types of business subjects, there are some of those on this channel, so there is something there for you. For those of you who typically know me for the other content on the channel, full speed ahead. There's plenty of that. That's not going away. Thanks for watching. Comment, like, subscribe, and see you soon.